We've spent over 10 years on air, shaping a generation of action motorsports, and now we're changing the game again. The best motorsports, the best action sports, and the best of pop culture with some epic guests thrown in. I am Jim Beaver, and this is the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Grab the popcorn. Welcome to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. I'm Jim Beaver here, lock loaded for another episode, bringing you a Best of May 2022 edition. That's right, I'm out doing all kinds of fun having, and so is Brittany. So you know what? We're bringing you a best of. This episode, we got an amazing interview with Keegan Kincaid. That is bringing you right into the championship off-road races at Anago this weekend. And then we've also got some talk at the end of the show about the Indy 500. Yes, that happened this past weekend. What an epic Indy 500 it was. Formula One Monaco Grand Prix. We even had the Coke 600. So congratulations goes out to all the winners. And, I'm really excited about this show, though. It's kind of a best of May. And I don't know, from time to time, it's kind of an in case you missed it. I think we're going to start doing these just as a callback on the previous month. That way, if you missed one of the shows during the month, well, we're going to bring you the best parts that aired during those shows, and we're going to bring it to you in kind of a best of to recap the month. So that's what you got. Keegan Kincaid, this is an amazing interview, and we've also got Brittany and I talking all kinds of stuff in regards to the races that happened this weekend. So if you want to engage with us, you know where to do it. Over on Twitter, at JimBeaver15, at BCardone15. Let us know what you thought of this show, any of the shows, feedback, guest suggestions, anything you want us to talk about, hit us up there. Make sure, please go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe there, and, leave a rating or review. It really helps us out. And you know what? Go to JimBeaver15.com because all of our shows, written content, videos, shenanigans, it's all posted over there at Jim Beaver 15. Our esports live streams, man, it's all there. It is a massive place to get content. So check it out. Hopefully you guys enjoy this best of. Next week, we'll be coming back with a brand new show from a special place I'm going I can't quite talk about yet, but you'll want to tune into that one. And enjoy the show. Keegan Kincaid coming at you right after this break right here on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. General Tire delivers for whatever life brings your way. General Tire's Grabber X3 all-season mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3. General Tire delivers. Check out GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, official tire of the Jim Beaver Show.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Don't just shred your way through any off-road rugged terrain. Get into gear with GSP XTV and let us redefine your adventure. The GSP Advantage of quality and performance sets a standard for UTV axles. We strive to provide premium ATV and UTV axles to keep you shreddy ready. Kick up some dirt and get in the driver's seat with GSP XTV. With over 35 years of experience, drive with a company you can trust. Drive with GSP. For more information, please visit us at gspxtv.com today.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Thanks for listening to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Available online on SiriusXM, on AM/FM networks across the U.S., and internationally on the American Forces Network. Head to JimBeaver15.com for all the details. Welcome back to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. We got our very good friend, one of my best friends in the industry, Mr. Keegan Kincaid, Crandon's Own, on the show. What's happening, Keegan?
Oh, not too much. Just enjoying some Crandon weather. It's finally warming up. Race season's getting close, but glad to be able to talk to you guys today.
Yeah, race season's getting close. What is your well, I know in the past, dude, people don't realize, like, you're actually a badass basketball player and probably an even better basketball coach. And I know a couple years ago you kind of pumped the brakes on the coaching and stuff like that, but you still play. Like, what does your winters look like? Because I know in the past winters were all about basketball.
Yeah, so I guess a little backstory is I didn't start racing until I was 21 years old, and my passion, my priority before that was probably, basketball. I played high school basketball, played college basketball, and then got an opportunity. My dad, said, "Hey, do you want to build a pro light?" And that's how I kind of got into racing. But before that, it's always, one of my biggest passions has been, basketball and high school basketball. In 2017, I started coaching. Well, an opportunity, I guess, approached me to coach the girls' varsity basketball program at Crandon, and I was really hesitant because I didn't know anything about girls' basketball and multiple girls at that point. But it was good. I finally talked to my wife Catherine and decided it was a good idea, and I couldn't have been happier with that decision. That year, my first year coaching, we actually went to state, and Crandon has never, especially for basketball in any sense, have gone to state for anything. And 2017, we went to state. 2018, we just missed state by one game. And then the following year, 2019, we ended up going to state again. And so for 2 out of the 3 years that I coached the girls team, things went really well, and it was an exciting moment. I was almost living vicariously through them. But it's a passion of mine. I don't do it for the money. It's an enjoyment I get to do with, involve my family, keeps my winters busy. That's for sure. And kind of a thing where you don't get burned out just on racing. Some people are racing 24/7, and this is kind of a little bit of break for me. There's snow on the ground and kind of turns to inside sports. So it's been good. Actually, last year I switched over to the boys basketball program. The boys program is a little bit down compared to what the girls program was, but hopefully we can build that into a good program. And again, I didn't get into it. A lot of the values that you learn from sports and basketball in general, I want to give back to those kids, and some of the life skills that I've learned, kind of give back to them and give them an opportunity to experience the same types of things that I did. And it's been enjoyable, and I really enjoy giving back and being a part of it. As much as I wish I could still play, we still do pickup games here and there, and I can still play, but nothing like playing high school basketball. And I really enjoy being a part of it and living vicariously through those kids. So yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. Well, And I laugh because you said you didn't do it for the money. I'm like, what do you commit like 4 months a year and get paid like $600-700 or something? Right?
Yeah. So the amount of time I think someone was calculating, another coach was like, well, we get about less than $1 an hour at least. So, but it doesn't mean, like I said, that's nothing.
Why do you even do the math at that point?
Yeah. It isn't worth it. In a way, I was like, I just want to donate this back, maybe help the program out in some way. And because the amount of time and effort, but that's what it takes, is like putting in. And if I'm going to do something, and that was one of the reasons I stepped back, not this year, but the previous year from the girls program, is I couldn't dedicate fully 100% to the team. And I had a good assistant coach at that time, and we had a good opportunity for him to take it over. And so I stepped back from it and kind of focused on racing a little bit more. I couldn't give 100% to the basketball, and reevaluated. And now the boys' opportunity opened up, and I just basically got talked into that and took it. And I'm excited to do that as well. So being a part of it and being able to go up to the school and give back is really, really fun.
So Britt, check out this record when he was a girls' coach. He's being very humble because that's who Keegan is. He was 62-14. 62 wins, 14 losses in 3 years. Tell me that is some insane record.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, I did actually know that. I do know a little bit of background because Keegan and I have worked together. So I do know these random one-off facts. I couldn't have told you the numbers. But I do remember the first time I was looking at those stats. I'm like, where did this come from? Because I'd always known Keegan's name, obviously, for a short course side of things. And then all of a sudden there's this whole basketball history and sports history. I mean, have you always been athletically just naturally able like that? Is there anything that you were just horrible at when you were a kid?
Yeah, it's funny because like my friends kind of joke about the same thing. Is like, even we'll play video games or something, and I do decently well, but I think I just choose the right things to do. I don't want to participate in anything I'm bad at. So, but no, the girls. Funny story is the boys program. When I was in high school, well, we were really successful. Even in basketball, we did well. We never went to state, but we were 20-2, and we did a lot of good things. Just never had an opportunity to go to state. But this year, the boys program was actually down, and great group of kids, but they just never had the opportunity of like youth basketball program and getting really involved. And in a small community, parent involvement is huge. Getting involved with, getting the kids there, and a lot of volunteer help. And the boys program didn't really have that. So we had a down year, and I jokingly said, man, I've never lost this much in my life, but it's kind of a humbling experience, of like, okay. And the boys, it's a culture, and we're trying to create that. And towards the end of the year, they did really well, and I was really happy with them. And hopefully, I have 3 boys, so hopefully we can help develop a program and culture and values into the basketball program that I once had when I was in that program. So we've been working on it, but it's fun. Like I said, it's a humbling experience this year because we jokingly said I don't think I've ever lost that much in my life, and drives me nuts. Being a competitor for a living, I just hate to lose, and but it's more than that. In the end, and that's what I think, humbled me this year is, we were probably 50-50 on the year, and we had some losses. We had some close games, but I learned from it, and it was really good. And the kids did, and we gave feedback to each other. I'm learning every day too, and learning what it takes and life skills, and just continuing to learn from that. But it's been a humbling year for us, and I look forward to going. I think this next year and the years to come, this boys program is going to continue to grow, and I'm really passionate about it. So as you can probably tell, I could sit here and talk basketball for forever, but
I can talk basketball.
It's been good.
It's not going to be the same conversation.
Yeah. I heard you got some stories to tell.
So to set the stage here, her and I are sitting in a bar in Tennessee. Basketball is on, and she looks up at the screen. And Britt loves sports. She looks up at the screen, and I'll let you take it from there, Britt.
Yeah.
I'm trying to choose how G on the scale rating. What do I have to keep it on?
PG-13.
Yeah.
All right. Let's just say there's extra members on the court. The court was definitely designed by a male. And I told Jim, I said, I love watching sports, but I can't watch basketball because there's these certain things all over the court, and it just distracts me. And he goes, what are you talking about? And then I kind of, well, here, look at the half court. They even have the hairlines in it. And he starts dying laughing. He goes, I can never unsee that. Yeah. So you're welcome.
Yeah, well, when we're off air and we're at Cranon or something, I'll point out exactly what she's saying, and you're going to lose it. But
oh yeah.
So yeah, well, I'm just hoping my Suns steamroll your Milwaukee Bucks in the finals this year. I was pretty bitter at you last year, dude.
Yeah, like I said, I have our friend Jared sitting next to me too, and he's a Suns fan, so
absolutely.
We always go back and forth. The Bucks are doing well, so I'm excited. I don't watch a lot of like that NBA basketball during the season. I like to watch a lot of college basketball, but playoff is usually good basketball. And yeah, I don't know. I think the Suns and the Bucks have a good shot of getting there this year. So
yeah, I think it's going to be a running back.
So what's your take on the Sun Devils then? I mean, I know they're not up there with the rest of y'all, but you're talking college teams. How do you feel about the Sun Devils? Choose your words wisely.
Yeah. Yeah, they're okay. I mean, I'm a Badger fan, and a Duke fan.
Oh, so, Duke! How does it? I don't even want to know how that comes into play. Oh, well, we got to take a short break. Before we do, though, I'm going to put you on the spot. Real quick, one-line answer. Okay, you win the World Cup this Labor Day, or you win the state championship with basketball. Which one has the bigger party?
Oh, World Cup.
World Cup. Yeah, because you're dealing with a bunch of teenagers, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. We're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be back after this on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show. Dig what you're hearing? Well, do us a favor. Head over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone and catch all of our back episodes. Welcome back to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. We got Keegan Kincaid hanging out. We've been talking some basketball. It's time to shift gears, though. We got to talk a little more than basketball on this one. But, I guess kind of talking about you growing up. I mean, it's funny because you and I, we've been pretty good friends for probably a better part of a decade at this point, Keegan. But I laugh because you grew up very similar to me. You grew up with your dad racing. Your dad also wrenched on his own stuff. Is independent guy, you know what I mean, who kind of, and you grew up in that same system I did, where you were probably out in the shop with your dad when you're a young kid, and watching what he did, going to the races, things like that. Then all of a sudden it transitions into your program. You guys raced at the same time for a couple of years, things like that. So it's like I kind of know the background, and then I look at you, and it's like you've got all your kids coming up and stuff like that. I mean, your program, you probably, off-road has been a part of your life from as long as you can remember, right?
Yeah, I don't know any different, and you probably are the same way. As since I was born, my dad's been racing, and that's been basically his career, for the past 30 years, and building off-road trucks. And I always remember going out to the shop and hanging out in the shop and hanging at the track. Memorable guys. I think of I remember key moments like hanging with Mikey Van and Hoovel and racing little tiny cars down the back of the trailer ramps. And it was just that was life, it was racing. And I still did sports like I talked about, but racing was still the summer, all summer long. I don't think I missed an event unless it was overlapping a sport, but that didn't happen very often. And so we still do the same thing. We're in the shop every day with my dad. I'm really grateful to be able to do that. Race for a living and build off-road trucks. My dad started building another Pro 2 this off season, and being able to just spend time with him in the shop. As I get older, I become more grateful for those opportunities, and it's just having gratitude for that opportunity to do what I love and spend it with my dad, and be able to allow him to still do it. He's not racing at the moment, so really he's been working for me, and I've been paying him to help me and build trucks. And I don't know if I would, at this moment, continue to do it without him, and because that's been my life, since the beginning of time, since I've started, it's been involved with him. And so, like I said, I'm really grateful for that. And to have him at the racetrack. And I don't even know if he'd be at the racetrack if it wasn't for me, And so really really cool opportunity and continue to do that. Like right now, it's just me and him in the shop, and we're a small team. We hire a guy in the summer to help us, and some great volunteer help on the weekends. And I think that's the reality of it, is we're not a big budget team. We're not big teams, and most of the teams that are involved with it aren't. They have 1 or 2 employees that help them out, and those are the guys that are doing it for the living. Johnny Greaves and Kyle LeDuc and myself, and we've all came from basically our parents or grandparents or have raced, and they've got us involved in doing it. We've been fortunate enough to keep that going, and I'm proud to say that I'm one of those guys, is to continue that tradition. And this year I bought Caden, my 10-year-old, a trophy cart, and hopefully he enjoys it. He's finally, I guess my dad's never pushed me to race. He's always, provided an opportunity if I wanted to. And I finally just took that opportunity as a 21. Well, now there's trophy carts, and there's a lot better opportunity to get in at a more affordable cost. And, so Caden's been bothering me, poking me. And so I said, all right, we'll allow him to race this year and maybe do a select event. And because I still want him to be able to play baseball and be involved with sports. And if anything overlaps, I want him to be able to choose. Racing will be here for him in the future. And but it'll be good. I think it's fun. Maybe give me a couple more goals besides just myself, and enjoy watching him, his happiness, and see what he wants to do. And I really look forward to that. Is I'm kind of seeing my dad's perspective now, and it's going to be fun.
And I think
that's got to be a crazy 180.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I want to go back to something you said. It's funny because you were saying something about your paying your dad to help you in the shop, and it was funny because I had this. It was a couple of weeks ago, and my dad, obviously same type system as you, and honestly, Brittany's in the same boat. When she's got a trophy from the day she was born because her dad was racing dirt bikes, and things like that. So I think all three of us have come up with basically in the dirt. But it was funny. So a couple of weeks ago, so Brittany and I have a Super Duty, and then we got a Ford Bronco that just came in, and so. My dad had sold his truck that he was driving, and I had the Super Duty sitting there, and I was like, well, just drive the Super Duty for a bit. It's not getting used, Dad. I'm driving the Bronco. Dad goes, all right, cool. And then, like a couple weeks ago, he'd been driving it for like a month and a half. He looks at me, he goes, I'm kind of liking this. He goes, for the first time in my life, you're making my car payment for me. And I just started laughing. He goes, it's just one of those moments where I just went, wow, okay, we've come full circle here. You know what I mean? You helped me buy my first car. Now I'm making a car payment for you. It's pretty my truck, but you know what I mean? It's just one of those where it was just funny, It's like, but it meant a lot to me. Like, all right, I'm actually doing something positive for my dad, like, just. Yeah.
And that's how I can relate to that. I feel, basically the same way as, he loves being in the shop. I can't get my dad. That's his hobby. I say, hey, Dad, you want to go do this? You want to go fishing? No, I'm going to go in the shop. And he just loves being in the shop, loves working on race trucks. I can't get him out of it. He walks from the house to the shop, and he's really passionate about it. And he's basically, a lot of the success that I've had is contributed to him, and the amount of time. I couldn't tell you the amount of hours and years that he has, and the knowledge, and it hasn't been it's basically been trial and error, and putting it to use on the track, and that's what's giving me the jump start. And really fortunate, same with you, is our dads have got us into this opportunity. I don't even know what life would be like without racing, and so it's fun. I enjoy it.
Brittany and I have talked about that. Like, I don't know, her growing up in the dirt, me growing up in the dirt. It's one of those, like, what would life be if, you know what I mean? Like, if I grew up differently than I did. Like, I can't even fathom a world where I, not doing off-road. And it's like, and I'm sure you're like us, but it's like, when it's not a weekend where you're racing, you're still doing something in and around off-road, whether it be UTVs, dirt bikes, whatever. It's just weird. Like, it's a lifestyle, and you grow up in it, and it's just you don't escape it, man.
No, we're in too deep at this point.
Yeah, you can't get out. That's what I said. After your first race, it was like I was hooked, and I'm like, oh, I don't care if I got to spend all my money or. And now I was fortunate enough to make money doing it, so I'm going to continue to do it as long as I can make money now. But it's like. once you're in, you can't get out. And I don't know. Once racing to me has been, I've always got my adrenaline rush, or I guess excitement from basketball and from sports. And when you got into a race car, and I relate to like Crandon on the starting line, of feeling those nerves and the excitement. There's nothing in the world like it, even on the basketball side of it. Yeah, I had those nerves, and you always, trying to get those again, and racing has given me that spark back. And I still get nervous. People are always like, "Are you still nervous?" I said, "Yeah, I still get nervous, but it's just it's an understanding of like, hey, you understand once the race goes, those nerves are gone, and you just relax. And now it's something that I look forward to."
Well, it's talking about, your family and, all of us growing up in off-road, stuff like that. I mean, I've seen all the changes in desert racing here in the Southwest, and Brittany has, but you've seen all the changes with short course in the Midwest. And, I mean, we don't even need to get into the different organizations, sanctioning bodies, stuff like that. But what's been the biggest changes you've seen in the past, say, 10 years, Keegan? I mean, we've had a few different sanctioning bodies, but performance in the trucks, driver counts. I mean, what's some of the big changes you've seen occur over the last decade?
Yeah, it's been, since 2011 is when I started, and, things were actually going really well. We were traveling to Charlotte. I was actually racing with Traxxas at that time and Mike Jenkins, and traveling around. Things were thriving. I thought things were going really well. Series were going, I've been through all the ups and downs of it. Things went down from there. And basically there was two series. We had Lours, and then we had the Midwest. It was Torque at one time, and then it was Midwest Off-Road Racing or more. And then, but we all survived. One thing that has been consistent that I keep coming back to has been the tracks and a lot of the drivers. And the drivers that are doing it for the living is Kyle LeDukes and, myself, the Greaves, Ryan B., all these other guys that have been doing it. Those have been the consistents. And, Champ Off-Road has come in, and, they had a really good opportunity, in my opinion, when Lours stepped away from racing in the West Coast. Basically, we acquired all those drivers. And so now car counts have been, some of the best that I've ever had. And last year was probably the best Pro 2 field that I've ever raced against. And I think it's going to be the same this year. There's not a lot of opportunity for people to race anywhere else. And, the tracks out here have been great. The atmosphere has been great. Pro 2 is looking around like 20 Pro 2s. We're looking at 12 Pro 4s, Pro Lights, really, really doing well. It's good for the fan. I guess I look at it, I'm just as much of a fan as the sport because I grew up in it and I enjoyed watching it as I am a racer in it. And so I look for the entertainment side of it and really enjoy watching it.
General Tire offers a wide variety of options that are designed to deliver for whatever life brings your way. Whether you have a truck, car, or SUV, General Tire delivers for whatever you drive. From the long-lasting all-season Altimax RT43 to the aggressive all-terrain Grabber ATX, General Tire covers on-road performance, off-road capability, and durability. General Tire delivers. For more information, drive over to GeneralTire.com. General Tire, official tire of the Jim Beaver Show.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing. So why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or @VisionWheel on social media to learn more. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Don't just shred your way through any off-road rugged terrain. Get into gear with GSP XTV and let us redefine your adventure. The GSP advantage of quality and performance sets a standard for UTV axles. We strive to provide premium ATV and UTV axles to keep you shreddy ready. Kick up some dirt and get in the driver's seat with GSP XTV. With over 35 years of experience, drive with a company you can trust. Drive with GSP. For more information, please visit us at gspxtv.com today.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Thanks for listening to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Available online on SiriusXM on AM/FM networks across the U.S. and internationally on the American Forces Network. Head to JimBeaver15.com for all the details. Welcome back to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. We got Keegan Kincaid currently on the line. Keegan, we're talking a little bit about the racing there in the Midwest.
The racing has been great. I think the last 2 years, we've seen some growth, and so we've shrunk down. You know, when I started racing, we raced in Prim, we were in California, we were in, from the East Coast to the West Coast, we've raced across, and Champa's kind of shrunk it back down, trying to build up from base, the core tracks like Bark River, Crandon, ERX, Lena. Now Annie goes involved in that. I think, which is a smart idea because they're happening tracks. What I mean by that is that you go there, you camp, you spend the weekend with the drivers, you hang out with the fans, you're involved in it instead of a 3-hour entertainment show. And I think we need to continue to establish those. And I think hopefully that continues and in the right direction. But as for racing, we got some of the most competitive fields we've ever had, which has been great. And I only look forward to seeing it continue to grow.
Yeah. Well, Brittany, I feel like you're sitting over there and you've got like a million things on your mind right now. What's going through that head of yours? I know it's a scary place, but what's going through that head of yours?
Like a second ago or a second from now. I mean, that's a totally different conversation. But no, it's a few things we've actually touched on. Is this is kind of bringing everything full circle as far as like, okay, pro racing. Everybody forgets how family-oriented it still is, how you're talking about racing and then going on to the spectator side and the enthusiasts and having the family, the army of Kincaids running around. How many do we have now? Just keeping it under 18. I'd be curious what your total family count is, but just seeing all the shirts running around last year, how many of your family members are just the kids?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. So a little background is my dad's side was born and raised in Crandon, Wisconsin, and my mom's side was born and raised local to Crandon. And so for both sides, I've had really big families. Both grandparents had big families, so I grew up with both sides of my cousins and basically played sports with them. And they come to the racetrack, and I think I have probably close to 50 family members that show up at Fall Crandon, just intermediate close family members. And it's really fun. Yeah. I don't, like I said before, I don't know if I'd do it if I couldn't involve my family. We bring our fifth wheel camper and the kids stay in the camper and hang out and and watch the races all day and hang out with the fans and ride their bikes. And it's just as much about that as it is about the races. And being able to spend those weekends with my family, my mom and dad come and bring their camper. my wife's side family now is involved, and they're some of my biggest supporters. And so that's probably one of the coolest things looking back on it now. When I first started, none of that really mattered. You're more competitive, and now that you see this side of it as you get a little bit older, and I really enjoy that. I'm grateful for that I can spend time with them and bring them to the track, and hopefully they can continue to do that. And that's why I wish nothing but success for short course. And we're trying to figure out what the best racing is and how do we make that happen.
Yeah. Well, I guess that leads me to what are the plans for this year? Because I know, you got a couple trucks. You guys have been, building something new. Obviously we've seen you in Pro 4. We've seen you in Pro 2. I mean, what are the plans for 2022 and Keegan Kincaid?
Yeah, so we actually I guess for the last 4 years, I've built a brand new truck, and for those 4 years, I don't think I've tested before the first weekend, and it's kind of become a habit. Well, at the end of this year, I said, you know what, I'm not going to sell my Pro 2. I want to be prepared. I want to be able to test. I want to be ready to go. And my dad still had to go build another Pro 2, but I kept my original one from last year. I just said I'm not going to sell it. I want to be as prepared as I can be, because I've never done that in like the last 4 years, maybe 5 years. We've always sold, and that's how we've continued our business is we would sell a truck and we could build a new one, and that would help pay for things in the winter. But this year I said, I was in a good spot. Thankfully, Lucas Oils came on board, Vision Wheel, Cooper Tire. Those guys have been behind me, and they allow me opportunity to build another Pro 2. So we have one. It won't be done yet. We've been taking our time on it, making sure we do some things right. But I will be racing Pro 2 full time with the same truck, the championship truck. That'll be the first time I've probably done that since Pro Light, probably 2013. Most of the time when after the year, I'd sell my truck and we'd have to test a new one. So this truck will be ready to go. We'll be prepared for it, and it should be good. We got guys like Jarrett Brooks and Corey Winter and Ryan Beat. Pro 2 is going to be tough, so we got to be prepared, and I think we're ready to do that.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's rad about Pro 2. And obviously, Pro 4s are exciting to watch, and and I tell everybody, I'm like, if you haven't seen a Pro 4 in Turn 1 at Crandon, a Pro 4 start, I'm like, you haven't lived life yet. But the Pro 2 racing's been absolutely insane, and like you said, like I look at this field, and I mean, you've even got guys like Deegan who comes in here and there, and what do we had? I mean, the blue, the celebrity crossovers, guys like Faust, stuff like that pop in, but I'm like, man, the like every single weekend, week out of the Champ Off-Road Series Pro 2, I mean, it is absolutely stacked, dude. These wins aren't coming easy.
Yeah, last year, I don't know, what did we have, like 5 or 6 different winners, I think. I think, Corey, I don't know if actually Corey won one, but it was Jarrett Brooks, Ryan Beat, myself, Ricky Gutierrez, I forgot who else won a couple of those races. Maybe Trevor Layton was up there. There was guys that, Pro 2 has probably been the best, most equal racing that, short course has seen in a really long time, guys, opportunities. Like I was in 3rd place going into the final round, but we had an opportunity to win, and we did. We got a little lucky. But yeah, I just think Pro 2. I mean, there's nothing like you said. There's nothing like a Pro 4, and having the opportunity to race a Pro 4. They're the biggest, baddest trucks on the planet. 4-wheel drive, throwing them in. They're awesome. Manual transmission. But the racing that Pro 2 provides is top notch, and that was one of the key factors of staying in it. Is the competition. I'm a competitor, and I want to compete against the best. And at the moment, I think Pro 2 is probably the most competitive class.
Yeah. Well, I know Britt will put you on the spot because I know you got to go to Crandon. You've been hearing about Crandon for years. You got to go last year, and you got to experience Crandon. I think you looked at me after it was like the Pro 4, one of the Pro 2 starts, and we went up the gazebo or something like that, and you were just like, you looked at me like, oh, man. Like, you'd seen short course your whole life, but you hadn't seen Crandon short course.
It's that first corner. What is it that everybody calls that corner?
Potawatomi Turn 1.
Just turn one. There you go. But yeah. He kept saying turn one, and we'd been at the infield. The infield was just insane, out of control. I can't even. obviously I don't have words for it, but it trips me out with my spasticness because you got cars in front of you, cars behind you. You hear stuff coming up. I feel like I'm missing something. I've got FOMO on the track. I couldn't even imagine being in the car. But actually sitting down by the gazebo, like you said, and looking down the track and watching them come at you and literally throw chunks of dirt through the fence, that and sitting right there on the fence line at turn 1, I think it fixes. But yes, I mean, being around it, it's very spectator oriented. It's always been that way, but it's put on as a show. And there you feel home. The second you show up at Crandon, you just feel home.
Yeah, I mean, literally it is home for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's
rub it in.
yeah. Yeah, and no, a little perspective, you know, Crandon's a town of less than 2,000 people, and it turns to 50, 60,000 people over, you know, Labor Day weekend. And it's something that you have to see in person to believe it, you know, and there's more things going on besides just the races. You know, we had the parade on Friday that was televised, and, you know, there's 20,000 people downtown, and it's just cool the whole weekend long.
And the after hours activity.
Yeah. I mean, that's
I learned what Jurassic Park was this trip.
Yeah.
I will just say apple pie and sleeveless Sundays, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do a podcast
blueberry.
just on the
blueberry.
after party of Crandon Off-Road.
Yeah. Before we let you go.
There you go. Mayor Kincaid.
Mayor Kincaid, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mayor Kincaid. And I think if you're mayor, RJ's going to move to Crandon just so he can be like vice mayor or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
assistant to the mayor.
Assistant to the mayor.
Yeah.
So I guess before we let you go, man, your kid, you got a trophy cart. You were saying, I got to think, like, you're going to be more nervous watching your kid race a trophy cart than you are on the start line. I mean, there's got to be a little bit of nerves going on in you right now, just thinking you're going to put your kid out there on track.
Yeah, it's totally different. And I kind of had this from, he likes to wrestle. He's a big wrestler. We've been traveling. He actually went to state wrestling this year. But it's hard because you can't control it. You know what I mean? You're on the sidelines and you're watching, and those nerves, and it's something. And same with basketball and coaching it. You can only do so much, and I think that's probably drives me more nuts than anything is not being involved with it and not being able to control it. And it's not myself; it's someone else. And so those nerves are higher. And I don't know. I'm already kind of nervous about it and excited at the same time because he's excited, and I want to see him succeed and try to give him the best opportunity that my dad did. And it's going to be an experience, that's for sure. But I'm excited for it and nervous at the same time. I know my wife has been like, "Oh, great! That's what we need is to have another." You know, I'm already nervous for one race. Now I have two races to be nervous about. So she's not too happy about it at the moment, but she'll get over it. We'll be all right.
First win he gets, it'll be all over. She'll be
yeah, for sure.
That's awesome, man. I don't know. Before we let you go, Britt, you got anything left for Keegan?
The ultimate question. I've been waiting for this one all day. Keegan, when's the next kid coming? You're behind schedule.
Yeah, no, we're done. So I have for people that don't know, I have a 10-year-old Caden boy. And I have two twin boys that are 3. They turned 3 in December, Nash and Wesley. And then we just had our last one, which was a girl, Ella, and she was born in September. So we're done. No more kids. Now I can focus on racing, and we'll have a full packed. I almost had a basketball team going with the boys, but it'll be good. We're excited to have the family at the track and spend quality time with them and involve them. But 4 is good for me.
Yeah, and knowing your dad, he's already going, man, how are we going to build 4 race cars here? Like, your dad's going, man, this is going to get expensive real quick.
Yeah, it's just costing me more money.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come on air with us, Keegan. Looking forward to seeing you out. I think Britt and I will be to the first Crandon in June. I think we're going to miss the opening rounds, though, but I know Todd will be out there from Vision. But I don't know, man, it's crazy. We're like a month out. We're getting close.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. I know I've been trying to get stuff going. I know parts have been hard to order for everybody, racing side of things, but we'll be ready. We're prepared and excited for round one.
All right. Thanks a lot, and we'll be back after this on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Dig what you're hearing? Well, do us a favor. Head over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone and catch all of our back episodes. Welcome back to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Wrapping up hour number one, and man, shenanigans are going to ensue in hour number two. You got Brittany and I for an entire hour. We're going to be breaking down the news and motorsports, some fun, some games, our travels, our adventures, all about that fun employed life. But, yeah, we got lots of motorsports stuff to talk about, a lot of it quite funny, and I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that interview, Keegan. Keegan's a freaking rock star. He's fun. And I got some Keegan stories. Man, I'm telling you, Labor Day weekend, group therapy, Sunday nights after the Cup race and everything. The Cup race wraps off. They got a thing called Sleeveless Sundays. You go into group therapy and you got sleeves on, they immediately get ripped off. Sleeveless Sundays at group therapy. It is definitely a good time, and I have enjoyed my partying with Keegan. And I got to tell you, that guy, they got a dragon punch machine. Those in the bars. They have those punching bag machines that measure your how hard you hit. Keegan, I have literally seen him pretty much break one of those machines. It's actually quite impressive. Man, I tell you, lots of good times. And I will say, if anybody brings up apple pie and you are at group therapy, it's very good, but watch yourself because it tastes just like apple pie and nothing else. And you can get into trouble really, really quick. So hour number one wrapping up. We're going to take a few minute break. We'll be back with hour number two. Go over to Twitter, engage with us, Jim Beaver 15, B Cardone 15 on Twitter. You got any suggestions for the next hour, something you want us to talk about? Let us know, man. And we would love to get that locked in and and get those questions on the show. Also, man, things are firing on our podcast feed over on Apple Podcasts. If you haven't already, go over there and subscribe. So not only are we doing this show, our regular news show, but we've got literally 10 years worth of back episodes of the Down and Dirty Show, and we're starting to re-air one of those a week with our best guests. So if you go to our feed, you're going to get both shows, this show and the archives of Down and Dirty, beamed right to your phone, iDevice, whatever. So subscribe and all that good stuff. Anyways, we're going to take a short break. I'm done rambling. I need to get a drink or something, and we'll be back after this here on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Social media? Yeah, we've got that. Jim Beaver 15 on all major platforms, and Jim Beaver Show, JB15 Group, and B Cardone 15 on the gram. Welcome back to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone, and we have a Dirtfish Rally report for you this week before we dive into some of our bigger topics in this hour number two. But make sure and head over to dirtfish.com. And they are a massive rally content company. So if you're looking for rally content, go and check it out. Some of their lead stories, they got, WRC going on. ARA Rally just wrapped up. And if you are looking forward to going to Dirtfish, getting some classes, use the coupon code JimBeaver15. That's going to get you 15% off all classes there at Dirtfish. But that being said, let's talk a little bit about, some of this Dirtfish Rally report for this week. And one of the big things is Dirtfish, they're a leading provider of not only rally schools, but rally content. They have amazing media website, and they have just partnered with EWRC. So This is a blockbuster deal for rally fans. EWRC has been around for a long, long time. Website ewrc-results.com. All the data, analytics, record keeping for rally, it's all there at EWRC. Now Dirtfish, I guess combining forces with them, and it's going to be massive for WRC fans. So you can find out that lead story over there at Dirtfish's website. And then one of the other big lead stories coming out of this weekend is Ken Block. He won his first ARA event in his WRC Hyundai. So Brandon Simonek beat Travis Pastrana for second place. He's maintaining his ARA championship lead, but Ken Block breaking through, taking down the Subarus in his WRC Hyundai, and his very first win in that WRC Hyundai. It's actually been a minute since Ken Block's been on the box, so congrats goes out to our boy, the head hoonigan, Ken Block, on breaking through, winning, and putting that WRC Hyundai on top of the box. So big news there. And obviously go to dirtfish.com. They've got all of that info. They've got, everything happening in the world of rally. They also have their own podcast. So if you love this show for the rally content, I know a lot of you do, make sure and go over and check out Spin the Rally Pod. That's Dirtfish's rally podcast. Really good stuff if you're a rally fan. So, yes, that was your Dirtfish Rally Report for this week. Don't forget, dirtfish.com. Use the coupon code JimBeaver15. That'll get you 15% off any and all classes. And that was your Dirtfish Rally Report for this week. All right, we're going to take a short commercial break. We come back, me and Brittany. Yeah, we're going to lay it down right here on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. General Tire offers a wide variety of options that are designed to deliver for whatever life brings your way. Whether you have a truck, car, or SUV, General Tire delivers for whatever you drive. From the long-lasting all-season Altimax RT43 to the aggressive all-terrain Grabber ATX, General Tire covers on-road performance, off-road capability, and durability. General Tire delivers. For more information, drive over to GeneralTire.com. General Tire, official tire of the Jim Beaver Show.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or @VisionWheel on social media to learn more. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Don't just shred your way through any off-road rugged terrain. Get into gear with GSP XTV and let us redefine your adventure. The GSP advantage of quality and performance sets a standard for UTV axles. We strive to provide premium ATV and UTV axles to keep you shreddy ready. Kick up some dirt and get in the driver's seat with GSP XTV. With over 35 years of experience, drive with a company you can trust. Drive with GSP. For more information, please visit us at gspxtv.com today.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Thanks for listening to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Available online on SiriusXM on AM/FM networks across the U.S. and internationally on the American Forces Network. Head to JimBeaver15.com for all the details. Welcome back to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Tim Montana, hour number 1, rolling into hour number 2. Brittany took about 10, 15 minutes off there in the middle of the show. I kind of hung tight. And now we're going to go talk about, I don't know, everything that's happening in the world of motorsports, some of our shenanigans, and who knows what the hell else we're going to talk about, Brittany Lynn. But I think the listeners are going to be in for a treat this next hour because we got a lot to catch up on, and some of it is actually quite funny when we get into talking about Sand Hollow.
I can't believe you just threw the middle name out there. You're going to throw me under the bus for my birthday, and you're going to throw the middle name.
Well, I'm sure I've got a full name call coming at some point. You've never pulled that on me before, but I'm sure at some point when I'm really in deep beep or something like that, it'll come out. So I guess the biggest thing we can talk about here, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. I mean, obviously it's the month of May. You and I were talking about going back to Indianapolis. Didn't happen this year. We just have had so much stuff going on in a good way. I know our boy Ben was wondering if we were going to St. Elmo's with him, and that didn't happen. But Indy, I feel bad because this is like the one I've been talking about and you haven't been to yet. I've been numerous times at this point, and I feel bad, but it's almost to the point where, like, next year we're just going to stay back there for like a full 2 weeks because it's that freaking awesome, and I feel like I don't want to half-ass it when you go. Like, I want you to get the full Indy 500 experience.
Yeah, I've been kind of paying attention to that, and it's almost like a horsepower Mardi Gras is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And I've always seen and heard everything of the prestigious Indy, but I really hadn't paid too much attention to all the festivities that go on outside of it. And don't get me wrong, totally on my bucket list. But I would also be okay even if I didn't actually get to see the race, as long as I got to do everything else.
Well, and that's like they've got for Carb Day, which is coming up,
Friday.
Listeners who are hearing this was yesterday. Depending on line, it's today or tomorrow. But Carb Day, Friday, they got the Snake Pit. And the Snake Pit is what literally they sell tickets to this. And there's people that go to the Indy 500 to Friday to Carb Day. They go to the Snake Pit. They don't even watch anything that's going on track. They've never even seen an Indy car the whole time they're there. There's like a separate entrance. You go and it's just literally out by the golf course, a massive party on the infield, and they've got just banger concerts, full-on debauchery. And I have never been to the Snake Pit yet. It's probably because I was waiting on you to go. I'm just going to say that, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like you and I need to do the Snake Pit.
But I laugh because Carb Day, right? And then it's sponsored by Miller Lite, I think, this year. And I'm like, man, we talk about, okay, I don't even know that I need to see the race. I don't even know that I'd see the concert if I was hanging out in the infield all day. And if these guys party like NASCAR does, I don't even know that I'd make it to the concert. But I don't know that I'd complain either.
Yeah, that's it. Like we're just, and you know the funny thing is that I got to be 100% truthful. I've been to the Indy GP weekend with a road course. I've been the entire week of qualifying, through all the qualifications, all that. I have actually really haven't been to the actual race. I've always checked out beforehand. So I've never actually seen Sunday Indianapolis 500 in person. So that's kind of crazy. It's actually kind of weird.
You were also waiting for me, right?
Yeah, exactly. You knew this. There's subconsciously, I was like, yep. I got to wait for Brittany. You know, there was just something about it, I'm sure. But
so I've got a serious question though.
Yeah.
Without pulling out your calculator, what is 95,000 divided by 80?
95,000 divided by 80. What is that? 8.
All right, I'll let you see. It's about $1,200.
$1,200. Okay.
So if we get 80 people to go in, that's what it would cost for a gasoline alley suite.
Okay. 80 people. We got 80 friends, I think.
I had to check to make sure that the max was still attainable. So $1,200 bucks each. We get up to 80 people. Can you imagine? We would be the only people, I think, that would have one of the suites maxed out. Now, that doesn't even include any food or drink. That's literally just to get a suite on Gasoline Alley. But just saying.
We got enough friends, I think, that have suites. You and I we can get a couple of seats, but it would be much more fun to have 80 of our friends in there. Actually, I don't know that would be good because our friends, Britt, I don't know that we'd ever be invited back to Indianapolis. I mean, I think...
No, that's exactly what I was thinking. Everybody else is going to have these corporate suites, and there's just going to be 80 of us just raising hell, just packed in a suite. We won't even be watching the race at that point.
Gosh, yeah, it would be who won? What? The race started? What? Oh man, it would be debauchery in the best possible way. But I don't even and 80 of our friends, that's the scary part. You know what I mean? Like you get 10 of us together and it's debauchery. Could you imagine having that many?
Well, we saw what 20 of them was like last weekend.
Yeah, and we'll get into San Paulo, but you get our friends, and especially a place like that where, gosh, we had a good time. We had a good time out there at the Side-by-Side Adventure Rally, but that would be a blast. Man, next year we're doing that Memorial Weekend. We're going to make that happen. Obviously, we get hard cards, stuff like that. The way I want to do this, though, Britt, is we're going to make the first 2 opening weekends work weekends, right? So, like, for the GP and, like, for Indy qualifying, like, we'll actually work. We'll do interviews. We'll do our media stuff. We'll shoot photos. But race weekend, like, I want to be able to shut off the work mode and you and I just completely, like, get absorbed into Indy 500 and just live it. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's – I want to do it that way.
No. I know what you mean. Like, I've already got this – our itinerary is already built. We've got Carb Day. Apparently they have porch parties everywhere, so it's like going back to college. Then they have the handlebar race and bike to the 500, which is just literally a BYOD bar crawl to the race. And I say BYOD, not bring your own drugs, but bring your own drunkies.
Yes, this is going to happen. You know what? We got to get our friends. I wonder if we can get General Tire involved in this because our friends at Speed Freak, I know Kenny and Crash, they go back every year because Crash is from Indy. And she literally knows everything there is about Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Indy 500. Like, she's from there. She's a Hoosier. Like, and I feel like they love to drink and they love to party. And they're our fellow radio people from, with General Tire. So I feel like somehow we got to involve the Speed Freaks, especially being that Crash knows everything there is about Indy. And I think the 4 of us would just be
shrimp cocktails. We have to add that too. But yes, this is a for sure thing.
Yes, we're after this weekend we're going to start organizing this. We got a year to plan. It's going to happen. So. Oh boy,
I guess we should actually talk. Some facts about the 500 beyond just the shenanigans.
Yeah, we got a few minutes left in this segment. I guess the biggest thing is the speed's been crazy. I mean, my dad and grandpa got me watching the Indy 500 when I was a kid, but these speeds this year absolutely bananas. Our boy, a very good friend of the show, not Scott Dixon, Connor Daly set the all-time fastest trap speed ever in the history of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 143.7 miles an hour.
You mean 200?
Or yeah, 200.
Because I can go 140 in my truck. I'm like, we might want to reevaluate this.
243.7, and that wasn't his qualifying speed. That was just literally the speed they got him at on the track. But that's crazy.
I know. I honestly, and this is where we talk about being on the track versus not, and not seeing it firsthand. I've seen cars firsthand, but I've never actually seen them on the track. And even watching it on TV, more so during qualifying than when they're, kind of making passes, things here and there, you can't comprehend it. I'm sitting there going, okay, 240 miles an hour. But so where is that? How fast do planes go? Land speed record. That's kind of what I was putting in its relative. But not only that, they're averaging 230 on their lap.
Yeah. Which and that's the crazy thing. They go into a corner at Indy and they never let off. It's foot on the floor, and if you lift in a corner, you're not going to be anywhere near the front. So literally drivers are holding the foot on the floor. You're entering that corner and you're setting your apex up so that you never lift. That's what's crazy. In an off-road car, you lift in a corner. Turn 1 at Crandon, you lift in a corner. Formula D, you feather the throttle in a corner. IndyCar, you don't lift. You apex it, and you never lift off the throttle. To me, that's nuts. And to do that at 240 miles an hour, wow.
Come on, lift, turn, brake. It got embedded into my head. Lift, turn, brake. I can still hear him in my head saying that.
Yeah,
So it is crazy watching that, but even like noticing, obviously I'm sure they pressed the track, but seeing how minimal tire marks, anything, brake, like there's just nothing on the track because of the way they hit. Obviously there's a few oops here or there, but I mean, when you can see a tire mark and laps later, it's still there on its own by itself because these guys are just that precise.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, I got something to add to this, but we're going to continue the Indy conversation after the break. So we'll be back right after this, right here on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Dig what you're hearing? Well, do us a favor. Head over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone and catch all of our back episodes. Welcome back to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Brittany and I talking Indy 500, talking about these crazy, insane speeds. And one of the coolest things, I think, was Jimmy Johnson coming over from NASCAR. Obviously, we all love Jimmy Johnson because he's a former off-roader. One of the greatest NASCAR drivers of all time. Decided he wanted to go IndyCar racing here about a year or so ago. Did all road courses last year. His wife didn't want him to do ovals and didn't want him to do the Indy 500. This year number 2, he goes, you know what? He goes, I have to run Indy at least once in my life. So he goes back there. He's struggled with IndyCar. Did well at Texas earlier in the year. Goes to the Indy 500. Nobody really thought much. Finds himself in the Fast 12. Had a really good shot at probably being on the front row. And in his qualifying run, lap 1, I can't remember if it was turn 2, turn 3, something like that. He had the craziest speed wobble at like 230 miles an hour. Almost put it in the wall, saved it, pucker moment. Ended up 12th on the grid, but I got to say, even the IndyCar driver saying it's probably one of the greatest saves they've ever seen. It was the wildest thing, and I almost got to think he was full sideways at 230 miles an hour in an IndyCar. I think that off-road background may have helped him out, Brittany.
That's exactly what I was thinking. The crossover, every time you pick up a different division, a different sport. I mean, rock crawling 2 weeks ago, we were talking about that. Dirt biking from going on the track versus open desert versus single track. Like, you pick up different things and it works great as a crossover. And this, I mean, it's amazing. It's a cool story. It's definitely something different. And it also, once again, puts something into perspective on how quickly things can go wrong, because it's kind of like what we talked about at the Supercross track. You watch it and they're so smooth and so good. It's really hard to put it into concept on how amazing and what a level these guys are at.
It's crazy. And, speeds. I mean, Scott Dixon set the all-time fastest pole speed, not qualifying speed, but pole speed ever at, 2:33? I should have the notes in front of me. 2:34.046.
Yeah, 2:30. Yeah, I mean, it was close. It was right there. And I know that was his, fifth pole?
Yeah, and Scott, I mean, I put him up on the GOAT list. I mean, he's one of, not just IndyCar drivers, and he's one of the greatest race car drivers of all time. I mean, this guy is he's a complete legend. Formula One drivers, everybody across the globe recognizes him as probably the greatest race car driver on the planet, and he's like ageless. I mean, he's in his 40s now and just continuing to just drop the hammer. It's just magic watching that guy race. But I don't know. It was just crazy, those speeds. I got to ask you, Sunday, are we going to sit down and we're going to watch like the Indy 500? I feel like it's going to be like 8 or 9 a.m. our time. So I feel like maybe it's like a Screwdrivers and Indy 500 or something in the morning.
I was like, do you want my honest answer? Because, yes, I will attempt to watch the Indy 500, and I will definitely watch the highlights. And I am so down to be a part of the conversation. But I cannot sit still for that long. So I will ping around and make a drink.
I like it. Yeah, well, and that's one thing I like about the Indy 500.
We can turn the Indy 500 into a drinking game because I'm not an alcoholic or anything.
Well, I figured that was just going to happen one way or another because you and I turn everything into a drinking game. By the way, do you have a beer in hand? Because I do.
I didn't this time around because I actually just finished it before I got on air.
Oh, you are bad. Well, I'm gonna have one here. So, no, we're going to have some fun with this. This will be fun. I love the Indy 500, though, because 500 miles goes really fast when they're going 230 miles an hour. So, you know what I mean? It sounds like, 500 miles, man, this is going to be an all-day thing. No, it really isn't.
Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely not the same as, well, heck, I'll say our 500.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I love, like, the Coke 600, and listeners know, I'm not tuning into that. I'm sorry. NASCAR and 600 miles of ovals, I can't do it. I am sorry. Brittany and I will be out doing something somewhere by then because it's not happening. But Indy 500, count me in. We'll watch. We'll make it fun. We'll do something. I don't know. Maybe we'll do some live tweeting games or something with our friends on Twitter. I don't know. But, yeah, other than that, we got a lot going on. Our buddy Ken Block, always give Ken credit because he's one of the people that kind of helped slingshot this show into whatever this show is. But he just dropped his new Pikes Peak car. Now, this thing, I mean, it's a Porsche. It's all-wheel drive, 1,400 horsepower twin turbo. I mean, if that's not enough, I don't know what is. This car is just insane looking. But we got to talk about this livery because Ken always gets artists, and I'll just be up front. Ken's a good friend of mine. This probably isn't my favorite livery he's ever done. Let's just put it that way.
I'm sure there is a story behind the livery, but between the livery and the name, I'm just confused. Without looking up, what the facts are on it, I'd love to hear it from Ken on what the real story and how he came to which artist and that particular livery and that name. But I'm just still kind of sitting here looking at it, thinking the Hoonipigasus?
Hoonipigasus, yes. I mean, everything's got to be Hoon, right? He's got the Hoonicorn, which truthfully is a unicorn car. I mean, it's that old Mustang that's like 1 billion horsepower and all-wheel drive, and like it's freaking rad, right? Like, okay, I get it, but like this, I don't know. I get where they're going. The car's badass. We're strictly talking.
Oh yeah, we are not discrediting the car by any means, or even the artist at that point. Yes. We're just talking about the livery in general.
Actually, I like the livery minus the color pink on it. And if it would have been like a fluorescent pink, I probably would have been good with it. Like, he's got kind of like some ghosts and stuff like that in there. Like, I don't mind it. It's just the pig pink is what's got me. Like a hot pink, I probably would have been okay. A lime monster green with like the same white like livery, like I probably would have been okay. But
hold on, I got it. We're just guessing right now, right?
Yeah.
Until we talk to him and figure out what the real story is. But lipstick on a pig. All they need to do is make the front bumper red.
Yes, just a bright ass red. I on board with this. And if we were there, we'd go and have those lip stickers that are like the hot.
Seriously, there's more of a story behind. We just randomly came up with this combination, so I'd be curious. And like I said, there's the press release, but I want the off the book story on how this came to be.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, and for those, I mean, most of our listeners probably seen it. It's kind of like a breast cancer pink almost. Well, maybe a little lighter than breast cancer pink.
No, it's literally a pig pink. If you took pig skin, it's pig pink. Yeah. It looks like it could go roll around in some dirt.
Yeah. I guess what I'm excited about, though, is this car's badass, and he's going to take it to Pikes Peak. So this has me interested because this car can slay up that hill. So that being said, like, color me interested in July to watch Ken drive this thing up Pikes Peak because, I think that's going to be pretty damn exciting. And, he knows Pikes Peak well. He filmed one of his Gymkhana videos up Pikes Peak. So I think this car is actually going to put some blistering times down. It's
a worthy contender for sure. And like I said, we are not discrediting the car, the build, anything in any means. It's surprising, I guess. It's just kind of everyone's going one, and maybe that's the other thing too. Everyone's kind of going one direction with the throwback stuff, which I love, and you already know this. But maybe it's going to stand out that much more because it is pastel pink.
Yeah, could. I don't know. Definitely could. All right, we got a couple things to go down here. We could sit here and dissect this livery. I know Kawasaki, our friends at Kawasaki, they dropped a teaser for an electric, I'm assuming dirt bike. They had a kid, and it looks like a kid. I say kid, I mean kid. Like literally, we're talking 6, 7, 8-year-old. Like on a gate with a motocross track, and it's like something electric's coming. So I feel like Kawasaki's got some kind of like electric kids dirt bike coming or something. Britt, from the teaser, what did you get from that?
I wonder if it could be like, I don't want to say like a Stasic. I don't know, but I like the direction things are going with the electric because we've always had this conversation of it's one versus the other. And now it seems that everybody's kind of finding their spot for both. And it's funny, all the swaps that you're seeing now where they're putting V8 in Teslas and Tesla motors in UTV. It's all over the place right now. So it's interesting to say the least. So a year ago, I probably could have told you. Right now, I honestly don't know. And that is a legit, I really don't know. And I'm kind of curious to see.
No, neither one of us do, and that's what's funny. I mean, I'd like to think we're kind of in the know, and I don't. But when you said Stasic, immediately my thoughts went to that when I saw this. So I was like, you and I are on the same page in regards to that. Like, I don't know what to expect, but, you know, knowing Kawasaki, it's going to be kind of rad. They put out a teaser for the four-seater as well. So I know that's coming. So, you know, I mean, it's going to be a big, some big announcements come June 7th for Kawasaki. I know, man, I'm just going down this list. Monaco Grand Prix. I know we've talked a little bit of Formula One, talked about Miami kind of trying to be the Monaco of the United States. Got the real Monaco coming up. And that, right now, Brittany, I'm telling you, you and I will be there someday together. That is my bucket list motorsports event in the world. I want to go to Monaco for the Monaco Grand Prix. Like, I want to go.
Okay, twist my arm.
Yeah, twist your arm. I had an invite a couple years ago to actually be on a yacht at the Monaco GP, and I had 3 days' notice, and it would have cost me like $7,000, and I didn't have the money at the time, and I didn't have time to book a flight and be there in 2 days, so I passed on that opportunity.
No, you just didn't have a partner to poke you and go, hey, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. That was probably a lot of truth to that. And we are getting up against the time break. We come back. We have a lot to talk about in regards to Sand Hollow. Brittany and I are going to get in our shenanigans here in just a few minutes. Got any, I guess, anything you want to add? It's at Jim Beaver 15, at BCardone 15 on Twitter. And we'll be back right after this, right here on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Social media? Yeah, we've got that. Jim Beaver 15 on all major platforms, and Jim Beaver Show, JB15 Group, and BCardone 15 on the gram. Welcome back to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Been talking some Formula One, some Indy 500, Ken Block. We've been all over the place, some Kawasaki electrics, and you know what? We're going to talk now about the side-by-side adventure. We still don't know what to call it. Side-by-side adventure. The HCR,
side-by-side misadventure. How about that?
Yeah, it was definitely a misadventure in such a good way. I honestly had some people ask me, they're like, what did you think of the event? And honestly, I mean, you and I always have a good time. The people we're with, I was like, I truthfully probably had one of my favorite events you and I have been to in the last probably year or two. And that's not discrediting any of the others, but I had that much fun out there.
Oh, yeah. I just love that event in general. It's always been my favorite event every year to go to. That and Hammers, just by default. The atmosphere, obviously I have to add Sturgis onto that, but those longer few-day rally type, it's just so much different from everything else we do. You get to meet so many new people. That's kind of what we were talking about on the trails is, yeah, we've known some people that have come out of the woodwork we hadn't seen in years, and then at the same time, we met so many new people within and outside of the industry as well. For a lot of first-time rock crawlers, so that was cool.
Me?
It was. I said a lot of. I wasn't calling you out. But no, it's fun. It's laid back. It's enjoyable. There's kind of no pressure on anything to do anything in the ways that the days are segmented. It's not exhausting. You can spend a few days out there and go home refreshed. It's just fun.
Well, I think that's like you and I, we're on the road so much. And we have, so many things. We have times, hard times. Got to be here. Got to do this. Got to go live. Got to be, you know what I mean? And so when you and I can go to Hammers and just be you and I for like 10 days or go to this for 4 or 5 days and just hang out, get up when we want to, have beers, go and kind of join trails, go out and ride when we want. Like, you know what I mean? Go to the water like we did and hang out. Like, to me, you and I get to recharge our batteries. Yes, we're at an event, but it's like those are the ones where you and I can actually recharge, you know what I mean, to an extent. Like, we actually – not that we don't enjoy things like the Mint 400, but the Mint, we're so pinned. There's so many things, hard obligations. Like, something like this, I feel like we just get to relax for once, and I really between the format of the event and the people we were camped with, oh my gosh, talk about a blast.
Well, it just reminds me of going out camping with your buddies on the weekend, and you go out riding during the day, you know, and you hang out at the campfire at night. And that's pretty much all it is. It's just your circle gets bigger.
Yeah, and that's what's funny. If there wasn't an event and we had those same people, that would have, everything that happened would have happened anyways, you know?
Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm like, hot dogs out in the, you know, pick a dune spot for a sunset ride, go get some hot dogs, go do some, we'll call it guided rides, but, you know, it's everybody helping each other out, make sure you're getting through different spots, get a group going. Loose itinerary of, hey, we're going to go do this. You guys want to go? Do you not? Group dinners and just whatever happened by the campfire.
Yeah. Drinking beer and watching the generator, you know.
Yeah, that's all that happened.
Inside joke there. So the generator on Brett and my motorhome is we can prep it and it runs great. We get to an event, it doesn't want to run. So that is absolutely the truth. I don't know what's going on, but we get anywhere and it will run.
It has performance issues.
Yeah, it's got performance anxiety. It does. It definitely needs some Blue Chews. I don't know what's going on, but it's just comedy because we can get it to run, but it's like, what, a 10-minute process to get it to run right, you know, and you got to start.
Yeah, there's sediment in there somewhere. It's pumping, whatever. And it's just got to be knocked loose when you take the car or the RV out, drive it, and then go sit it somewhere. Because we've tried to eliminate absolutely any outlier that we can, and we still, over a year, have not been able to figure it out. So.
No, it's bonkers. It needs to be pulled out. And we've had it gone through. That's the funny thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's definitely performance anxiety. That's the official diagnosis.
It's performance anxiety for the generator. Yeah. So the whole drink beer, watch generator. I don't even know what happened. You're like, where you at? And I was like, drinking beer, watching the generator. There was something like that, which is a lie.
Well, after the first time we heard it chug, you came and grabbed a beer in a lawn chair, and you said, "That's going to be a while." And you walked away. and the joke was, what did you guys do this weekend? Yep, hung out and drank beer and watched the generator.
Yeah, so yeah, it was definitely I don't know. It's become par for the course. It's funny because you and I know exactly what we're going to have to go through at this point. So I'm looking through. We have so many notes, and I'm like, this is just going to be hilarious, like going down these. But we had a good time. So I got to set the stage here. I got to set the stage because listeners have said they want a glimpse into our personal lives or whatever a little bit. You know, we've kind of started. So Brittany and I have had this conversation. My birthday's in December. Hers is in May. And so we decided that we're going to not celebrate birthdays on Labor Day weekend, which is the halfway point between our birthdays. We're going to celebrate our birthdays together. Makes sense, right? You know? So we decided this a couple weeks ago, and this is right before her birthday, which we're going to be out at this event. And she told me, she's like, don't try and do anything. It never works at this event. You know, it never works having a birthday at an event, whatever. Just ignore it. I'm like, I can't ignore this. So I kind of go like.
Well, and I also like being in the background as well. So usually when something, quote unquote, happens for my birthday, it's 40 strangers singing me happy birthday on a trail, which makes me want to run and hide in the cave.
Yeah. So there's this, you know, and she doesn't like being surprised at all. You know, I know I'm the same way. The funny thing is I'm saying her, this is mutual. It's me on my birthday as well. So her and I are one and the same in regards to this, but I was like, I felt like I needed to do something. So I kind of orchestrated these plans, but I had to do them in a different type way so it wasn't bad. So I guess we'll start with a piñata. Because I hit a piñata in the shower of our RV, hoping that she didn't want to take a shower on the morning of her birthday.
And a day later, he goes, "Oh, I was so worried you were going to look in the shower. Well, I'm glad you counted on me being a stink ball."
So we pull out this piñata, and it's like midnight, and everybody has had a little bit to drink, and we have this piñata and a baseball bat. And the piñata's filled with all the kids' candy. Britt doesn't like chocolate. I'm not really crazy about chocolate. So we've got all this really good stuff like Sour Patch Kids, Swedish Fish, like Sweet Tart Ropes, Fun Dips, Ring Pops, like just stupid candy. And we've got a bunch of drunks with a baseball bat. And we ended up getting the music playing. And what we had to spin.
Hold on. How did you guys even end up suspending it? Because I never even paid attention to how you guys finalized it.
So the rope you and I bought last summer when we took the pontoon out to Pirates.
The boat anchor line.
Yeah, and it has the slide. It has the slide on it. It has the slide that locks in. So we hung it between the two RVs, and it had that slide lock, so it wouldn't move on the rope. And we hung the piñata from the slide lock. So it actually worked out really, really well. I'm glad you and I went boating last summer. So that's how we got it suspended. And so we came up with this thing where we didn't want to blindfold. It probably would have been bad because everybody had had too much to drink at that point. So.
Well, that was my only condition. I was like, look, I'm willing to do – I was like, but I have one rule. And I kind of had to go up quietly to Jim, and I was like, I am not willing to put on a blindfold in front of 20 of my closest friends because I love them all, but I do not trust them plus alcohol to not do something silly. I felt a little too vulnerable there.
Yeah, I completely get it. And especially at this point. So it was one of those where, so we do that. We decide, all right, what are we going to do? So we make everybody spin around 5 times on the bat with their head down. Some people decided to sit on the bat and spin around. We won't name names.
AKA the sit and spin. That was...
Yeah,
Some people decided to stand in the same spot and spin around the bat because, again, them plus alcohol equals not following instructions.
And you had to hit the piñata with your opposite hand. So if you're right-handed, you had this oversized baseball bat. You had to hit it with your left hand or vice versa. Anyways, we ended up getting the strongest piñata known to man, literally the strongest piñata on the planet. And it literally took, 20 adults, 30 minutes to finally break this piñata open?
Hanging on it.
Brittany went at one point, hung on it. I mean, it was the rope tying it, like the zip tie or whatever. Normally those pull out. That didn't pull out. Like it was crazy. Like I don't know.
I'm not gonna make a joke.
No,
there.
When I said that, I was like, yeah, that was bad. But it was absolute hilariousness, ridiculousness. I guess I should say that. Like I don't know. It was funnier than hell to watch everybody.
But when it did finally break, what was funny is watching all of the 40-year-old men run at the candy.
Oh gosh, yes, yeah.
And I'm calling that out because there were several different age groups and genders and all that, but it was the 40-year-old men that all came together for a mutual cause.
There was, and I love that we're not naming names in this, which is funny because we're protecting everybody. But it was,
while throwing them under the bus.
Yeah, so that when they listen, they'll know it's them, but we didn't call them out. And I love the fact that we've got kind of our secret kind of thing going on where we all share pictures, but it never really goes public outside the group. It's kind of great. So I'm enjoying that. But anyways, that was a riot. It was absolutely a riot. So yeah, it's absolutely a riot. So that gets done. I had this cake that I had special made, and it was all black, and it was a unicorn cake inside, so it's rainbow. So I pull this cake out, and it just looks like a big black cake, and everybody thinks it's chocolate. So we cut this cake open, and it's literally a full-on rainbow unicorn inside. It actually
like a 7-layered wedding cake, pretty much.
Yeah, I ordered it, but I hadn't seen the inside. So my mind was blown as much as yours was when we cut that thing open because I had never seen anything that rad. Like it was kind of cool looking. So
I mean, I'd seen it on the internet, but in real life it never works out that way. And I actually got a Pinterest cake and not a Pinterest fail cake.
Yeah, if I would have tried to make it, it would have been a fail cake, but I actually hired a real bakery to get it done. So the best part of this cake is everybody is, at this point, it's almost 1 a.m. We're mowing through this cake, and it was good. It was really good. So we're
It
mowing.
was so good.
Yeah, we're mowing through this cake. And the black icing actually dyes your fingers and your lips and everything else. So that's
Oh,
fun.
hold on. Rewind real quick. And the reason we know this for sure is because I decided to add my own little touch onto the cake, and I started poking holes in the top of the cake with my fingers so I could put the kazoozles, which are now called sweet tart ropes, in them like candles. And then my finger was black after that for like 3 days.
Yeah, we did not know that. Well, all I was told of the bakery was don't get it on your clothes. I didn't realize lips, hands, everything else stained. And it had like the neon, like it was a Britney cake. So the best part is, and this is where it gets really entertaining. So this cake is just full of dye of all kinds. It's full of dye of all kinds.
Well, yeah. How do you make black with food coloring?
Yeah.
Let's think about this for a second.
Yeah. So the next morning, we all wake up, and one of our friends goes, I almost had to go to the hospital. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I almost had to go to the hospital. He goes, I went to the bathroom, and it was rainbows. And he's like, what did you do to me? I'm like, I don't know what I did to you, man. And he goes, no, seriously. His wife comes out. She goes, yes, this is a problem. But they're laughing as they say it. They're like, we thought we were dying. And then slowly.
He genuinely was worried for a minute and thought he was going to have to go to the hospital. And then after that, everybody decided it was sharing time and got to tell what color. Yeah. They had that morning.
Yeah, so it was.
I would like to say I was still in the motorhome, not participating in this conversation, for the record.
Well, I got trapped when I walked out, so. I was to blame because everybody knew I brought the cake, which I had no idea it was going to do that. But, yeah, it was quite funny because everybody slowly started coming out of their RVs at camp, and it was the same story. So, yes, that cake was a
Oh, well, mine was blue. Mine was red.
Yeah, so
I heard it all. I just didn't participate in the conversation.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a short commercial break. We'll be back after this right here on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Thanks for listening to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone, available online on SiriusXM on AM/FM networks across the U.S. and internationally on the American Forces Network. Head to JimBeaver15.com for all the details. Welcome back to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone, talking about some shenanigans that happened out at Sand Hollow at the Side-by-Side Adventure Rally. And we got a couple things before we wrap up. We'll keep it short, Britt, but remind me, because I'm kind of spacing out here. We had some. I mean, you and I had so much happen. In and out and ice is on our list. All right, so what do we got here?
So everybody was kind of looking at an excuse Thursday. Downtime, and we got to go to the grocery store. Whether it's beer, ice. I can get it for you. No, it's all right. We got to get a few other things. I think they were just getting a little stir crazy, needed to get out for a little bit, and we kind of did the same thing. We needed ice. We could have gone to a little general store and got ice, but instead we went on a 2-hour shenanigan and somehow ended up with In-N-Out as well.
Yeah.
And so I put it on my Snapchat because we don't have In-N-Out where we're at, and I think you're close to one as happens to.
Yep.
But everybody that was at the rally, I sent it to them on my story because I was like, out getting ice, and it was just a picture of our In-N-Out milkshake.
And I hate to cut it short, but we are up against the time break. Want the full cut? Go over and hit our podcast, and we'll see you next week right here on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. That's a wrap for this edition of the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittany Cardone. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and follow Jim Beaver 15, B Cardone 15, and Jim Beaver Show on social media. We're also on the web. Hit us up at JimBeaver15.com for all the latest. We'll see you next time.